What is up, Steam blockchain? Today I want to talk about human beings. Humans are predictable. What you may say already, well, Adrian, I already know about this. I know humans are predictable. It's way more subtle than that. So a friend told me this, and it just struck a chord in me. Well, how intelligent this was. And, or we can call it a source, even though I say friend, as you say a source. So how deep does this go? What is so cool about this? So let's just put out a theory. So we humans like to believe in fairy tale stories and magical worlds, and we like to dream away into some fantasy land and stuff like that. We like to put sugar on reality. We like to tweak reality. We like to put flowers on reality, candy, sugar. We like to put McDonald's on reality. We like to spice it up because maybe we feel that reality is too ugly, that we have to spice it up to be able to live in reality, that we can't deal with real reality, that we want to believe into some fantasy story, some fairy tale story, and if someone tells us that, we're gonna follow that person. Okay, this is a theory. Okay, so how is it in reality? Is that how life is? Is life a fairy tale story where magical things happens all the time? Or are there real human predictable patterns that we can use to navigate through life in a way easier way? Well, human beings are predictable. That human beings are predictable. Companies are predictable. Nature is predictable. Something that goes down is gonna come up. Why? We have pattern recognition. We've seen how it has been in the past. We can look at predictable patterns in the past, and we can see it's predictable what's gonna happen in the future. It's all in the history. It's the same game as it always has been. So, how can we use this predictability? Well, we can look at a person's life first of all. What if I take me, for example? How is this day going to be? I can believe in a fairy tale story. I'm gonna do all these things. What is the truth? It's a predictable day based on what I have done in the past. There's a pattern. There's a pattern. There's a pattern for everything. You can see pattern. You can see predictable patterns in the market, in people, in nature. You can look at these patterns, and if we look at these predictable patterns, we can make adjustments that benefits everyone. So we can play around with the idea of, let's say someone did a Steemit clone, for example. Is that token in theory gonna have value? Of course, because it's the same system. Always going to be a buyer and a seller with all tokens, because that is what the pattern is showing. The pattern is showing that there is always a buyer and a seller for all cryptocurrencies. And if you copy something that works, obviously it's gonna work again. Now, I see the nuance side of this, where it's not just super black and white, where yeah, you copy this and it's gonna work exactly the same. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying that if you can get the general idea that there are patterns going on here, there are predictable patterns where you can see where stuff is going, because everything is going in circles. Now, if you look at this system, it's very interesting, because then you can break out of it. You can see the patterns, and you can see, oh, wait a sec, I'm gonna do something different here. There's no like. So you can see the patterns. You can both see the pattern in yourself, how you live. You can see the pattern in other people. So one predictable pattern, for example, is, what is a predictable patterns about other humans? Are we gonna change them? Has it ever worked in history? It hasn't. It has never worked. And again, this is also nuanced. I mean, this is also a paradox, because everything in nature has this dualism effect also. So there are many, many ways to interpret this. So, but in general, we can see patterns. We can see patterns that when some people are highly smart, it's not going to be accepted by the majority. So we can use these pattern recognition, and we can make decisions based off of that. And we also, let's say a person does a piece of content and someone consumes that piece of content. There's already a pattern there that probably is gonna keep on repeating itself. Is people's life changing a little bit because of technology and circumstances and so on? Yes. But the deeper patterns are still there. They're still extremely predictable patterns, even though some of the tools may change a little bit. But this is super, super key if you analyze this idea of humans are predictable. We know what's going to happen next week. We know what's going to happen in 1 month. What is going to happen? The same patterns that are going on right now, with a tiny bit of tweak. But in general, it's the same predictable pattern. What happened with the crypto market the last couple of years? Just go up and down, but there's a pattern, right? There's a pattern. And again, there's a pattern here also. I'm saying I'm not a financial advisor. I said that in other videos also. It's a predictable pattern. So, but in general, it's some pretty big evidence that we have a pattern of red, green, red, green, red, green. There's a pattern. It's pretty obvious. You can just take a quick look at it and you see this is a pattern. But people want to sugarcoat it into some fairy tale story that something magical is going to happen eventually. But is that the pattern really? It's not. Again, that is also a nuanced perspective. So you can use this predictability. It might make a person a bit depressed in the beginning, because they realize, whoa, I am very predictable. Other people are very predictable. But then they see the power in it. A person at any point can just say, you know what, I'm just going to be very conscious and I'm going to do a pattern break, right? So I wanted to talk a little bit about that in a video. I'm very passionate about that. I'm going to think about it more. predictability, because it goes deep. The more I study it, the more I am fascinated about it. Yeah, so have an awesome day, Steam blockchain, and hopefully I will see you all, if there's someone watching, in the next video. Bye bye.